You want, you can do it tomorrow.
So Shalom Aleichem, welcome everyone to Meaningful Interviews. I'm here today with the Mashpia of the Lubavitcher yeshiva in Miami, Rabbi Yosef Abrahams, who is a veteran, seasoned Mashpia. You know, they have many young Mashpiim today. Rabbi Abrahams has a pedigree going back to the early 1960s, involved in education and chinuch. And in particular, what I find fascinating is that he had an opportunity to be with the Rebbe and Chasidim from the 1950 or 51, he'll tell us soon, until 1962 or 64. So he had an opportunity to be with very great people, very refined people. Two of the people that he mentioned to me in the past that I wanted him to talk about a little bit for the audience is Reb Yoel Kahan, his Mashpia, and the Rabbi Mordechai Mentlik, the Rosh Yeshiva of 770. And I understand from him that he had a nice, special relationship with both of them. And of course, the Rebbe, what he saw during the 50s. You know, we read in Toras Menachem very endearing words and very heartfelt words. It seems like the sichos, the talks of those years were very different to the sichos later on. And what I'd like you to communicate and share with our audience is the avira, the environment that existed in 770 in Crown Heights during those years. And to begin, just give us a brief background of where you came from, parents, grandparents, just briefly, so that people have an idea who's speaking. Rabbi Abrahams, the floor is all yours.
Okay, my parents come from Hungary, and they lived in Philadelphia, and the Friediger Rebbe sent Shluchim there to make a Lubavitcher yeshiva called Achet Mimim. It's like a day school. And I learned there for 4 years. Then my parents moved to Chicago. And like a month after we moved there, my father passed away. And at the end of the year, my Chaverim finished the learning there. They decided to go to the Telzer Yeshiva in Cleveland. And the shul where I davened was also in the Nusach Harishol, Shakta Lubavitch. And the Rav there was Rabbi Lieberman. Not later, he was in Belgium and Antwerpen, the Rav there. And he told my mother that he would take care of me and he would bring me to Lubavitcher Yeshiva. They knew about Lubavitch. I learned before in Achet Mimim. And he mentioned her, it's closer to Philadelphia than Cleveland. So I'll be able to visit more often. So when I was 12 years old, I came to New York. And I learned in the first kit of the Mesifta. It was Gemara with Teisves. And I saw the Rebbe the first time was on Chalamed Sukkos. And it was called Ramash. And used to verbring every Chalamed. It was called like a verbringen special for Yeshiva Bochim. A lot of other yeshivas came to the verbringen. That's when I saw him the first time. And then the second time I saw him, Simchas Torah. After they came down from upstairs from the Friediger Rebbe's, after the Sudim, I guess. So they were dancing downstairs, and the downstairs means where the shul is now, the first floor, not the
Right.
Then there was the shul wasn't in then was a basement, and not a basement, there was a chotzer and a yard there. So that was the downstairs from the second floor to the first floor, and you were dancing there, and that's the second time I saw him. That was before the Histalkus. And the Friedige Rebbe, I saw.
Wait. What do you mean before the Istalkus? Before the Istalkus of the Friedige Rebbe?
Yeah. I'm speaking about Tovshin Yud. I came in the Elul Tovshin Tes.
Oh, you came Elul Tovshin Tes, which is 19...
Sof Elul, like 2 weeks before Rosh Hashanah.
So you came in 1949. Now I understand. Okay.
Yeah, 1949. Yeah. So
at that 1 second. So did you see the Friedige Rebbe too or not?
I saw the Friedige Rebbe on Yitas Kislev. Like this, they couldn't get in. They was to stand in the steps there. Maybe they opened the door, able to go in.
So how did you?
That was the last Farbrengen of the Friedige Rebbe. Yitas Kislev Tovshin Yud, and the Rebbe said that they should open all the doors and let everybody in.
Which Rebbe? Our Rebbe?
The Friedige Rebbe said that the Rebbe Rayatz said that they should let the whole Elam in. It was the end of the Farbrengen. They pushed to see the Rebbe, to say L'chaim. And everybody went in. And was around the table. I was a young kid. I was 12 years old. I couldn't see. So one of the bochrim picked me up and held me up for a minute. And I saw then the Friedige Rebbe. And I remember how his face was red and the spodik. And
so you still remember it till you remember?
Yeah, I remember exactly. Yeah, that was like in my mind. It was a special thing that I know you couldn't get in, and I was standing there. Some Hasteda was standing there for hours, maybe able to get in and whatever. And
right.
So this was a special thing.
Right. Okay. Continue, please. Continue.
And then by the Histalkes, I wasn't there. Punkt. That Shabbos, I visited Philadelphia.
Huh. I
came back the next day after the Levaya. I wasn't by the Levaya also.
No, you didn't even know.
I didn't know. No, I found out there when I was walking with my mother in the street, and we saw in a store. Then used to be the Yiddish papers. You had the Forwitz, the Tog, and the Journal. Yeah. I saw the paper that was called the newspaper that was called the Tog. That a picture of the Friedige Rebbe on the front page.
Ah.
So I said, "Oh, let's go see what the
right
what the paper says." I took the paper, and there it says the Lubavitcher Rebbe is nifter geworden. That's when I know.
But you didn't make it back because
till I get there, the travel thing.
Yeah. Okay. Continue, please. You go into now, and this is so. 1 second. At 12 already, you were in Masifta at 12 years old.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think it was a different system then than now. Then used to be younger in the Masifta. When you started learning Gemara Matesvis, that was the Masifta.
And who was your Rebbe? Who was your teacher that first?
Rabbi Garfinkel.
Oh, how did you like his shiurim?
I liked him very much, very much.
Excellent hasbara explanation, right?
Explanation good, and he was very with feelings. And I mean, he wasn't like a cold person.
Right, he was a warm person.
Warm person, yeah. And I felt very close to him. Yeah.
So that was the first. Now during that year, so then when 1 second. So now during that year, Tafshin Yud to Tafshin Yud Aleph. Anything interesting that you remember about that year, or?
Okay. Always the kids between ourselves were speaking that I was going to become the Rebbe or not or whatever.
Or the Rashag?
No. There was no Hamina, but they were speaking about the Rebbe was going to officially become a Rebbe. I remember the first Farbrengen I was by the Rebbe after the Stalkers was Achar Shel Pesach. That was the first Farbrengen, and it was like a very small Elam. He had a few elder Chasidim. I think Rabbi Mentally, they lived in different neighborhoods. There wasn't many Lubavitchers around Heights. He lived a lot. Lived in there wasn't too many Lubavitchers than here. in New York, but they lived in Brownsville.
Right, in Brownsville. They walked in for the
So they
Fabrengen.
walked there, yeah. So it was the Achon Shel Pesach, so this Mashiach, whatever. So they walked, and but there wasn't many people there. Yeah, like I was standing, like right across the Rebbe. The Rebbe was sitting. Later, he sat in the head of the table.
Yeah.
Then he was sitting like in the middle, in the middle of the table, and I was standing across him. It wasn't like a big pushing or whatever.
Right.
And the Sikha was easy to understand. He spoke about his Chasidus.
But this is interesting to me because I never heard this before. You're saying that you were a 12, 13-year-old boy, and the boys felt that knew that the Rebbe was going to become the
Rebbe. Look, who were the boys there? The boys there were they had their Yosel Zalmanov. I mean, the kids were close to the from the Nash was what that were like cloud tours with like they were Shmuel Zalmanov, and you had Godetsky was my kid. So these were all people that they heard from their parents or whatever from the. So that was the.
But from your Melamdim or
no, they didn't speak about they didn't speak about the no.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying
don't forget in the kit it was not only Lubavitcher kids.
Right.
That time we had a lot of from Williamsburg there. You had in different places, all kinds. You had all kinds.
Mm-hmm. Now I think people. This is important for people to hear. Did your Kita, did they learn Chasidus with you or not?
No.
No Chasidus?
No. When did we start? I think in the second year or the third year.
You told me in the past that you
learned Tanya. Rabbi Liz taught Tanya in the evening.
But you told
for a half an hour.
Yeah, but you told me that you were in Reb Yoel's first class.
That's later. That when I was 16 years old.
Reb Yoel became
a Mashpia there.
In Tafshin Yodalit.
I was 16 years old then.
But you're saying you learned in Tanya in the evening by Rabbi Liz.
Yeah, Rabbi Liz said Tanya. I don't remember exactly. It was the first year. I don't think it was the first year. The second year, I think it was. After I was bar mitzvah. Yeah. Before bar mitzvah, they didn't learn Chasidus.
So after your bar mitzvah, was there? Did you know what it meant to be Lubavitch, a Chasid, or not really?
Look, I used to read also the sefer and then Sichas from the Friedrich Rebbe. We had Lakute Diburim. We were like, even though it wasn't from America. You had from Poland the Lakute Diburim.
Right. What about the Fabrengens? From 1950 to 53 or 54? How many of those Fabrengens did you attend? Everyone?
Everyone, yeah, everyone.
I mean, you were in Bedford and Dean in the dormitory, right?
Yeah, but I used to go at the Bochrim used to eat, and I think they were sleeping there in Bedford and Dean.
Yeah,
they didn't have the older Bochrim. I mean, the Bochrim from 70.
Yeah, I know that. So they used to walk.
When they knew, for instance, Bay's ear, there was a Fabrengen. Now it's not a regular thing. So they told me, that I was going to Fabrengen tonight. Ramash is going to Fabrengen tonight. I walked the 770 and.
By the way,
distance.
Did they call him the Ramash after the Kabbalah of the Seers? No.
No. I think they stopped the Bochrim Mamish stopped calling him Ramash Rosh Hashanah time. I think, or even before yet. If I'm not mistaken, they used to even by Kriyas HaTorah, they called him Yamida the name of Rabbeinu by after Rosh Hashanah, I think it was.
And when you say the Bochrim, who do you mean? Like groaners? Like who do you mean the Bochrim? Which Bochrim?
Who were the older Bochrim then? Yeah,
Reb Raskin, Reb Yoel Kahan, those were Bochrim.
Yeah, they were the Bochrim then. The Beryl Yunik. Then in the beginning, 5 Bochrim came from Brunois from Paris. The
Yeah,
Russian
you mean Gedalia Korf, those
yeah,
Bochers?
yeah. Then slowly came another Bocher.
So would you say that the older Bocherim had a big impact on you after becoming, a real Lubavitcher and all that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which Bocher did you like? Who was it that you looked up to and had a close relationship with? Anyone stands out?
Look, there was two Bocherim that I looked up very much up to them. But I didn't have a close relationship then with them. I just saw how they were acting. Reb Yoel Kahan and Zeli Katzman. These two with a special relation on me. But other Bochum used to speak with me, but it wasn't like I didn't see anything special. The special I saw with these two.
So tell me just a little bit. What did you see special about these two? Tell me.
Yale was always like in Chasidus and this, and the whole time involved, and Zelig was like always vertracht. You could see the trachten Chasidus and like a hechere sort bocher, and not the regular type.
Mm-hmm. What was Zelig an Ovid also? Was he an Ovid?
Yeah. Zelig was an Ovid, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Reb Yoel, what? I mean, Reb Yoel was.
Yeah, it was a gelegen Chasidus. Yeah, that was his life, the Chasidus. It's highest, but a tainug in Chasidus.
So you say that you respected them, but you weren't close to them. In other words, you didn't speak to them about if something bothered you.
No. Bichlal, I didn't speak to anybody about them. I'm very how am I to myself?
Right? Yeah, you're private. Yeah, right.
Private. Yeah, but Bichlal, the Bochum used to speak with me. Look, the Rav that brought me, Rabbi Lieberman, he was a Bocher then.
Oh.
So he was, and they know that he brought me to the yeshiva. So they were like mekarev me. They were speaking with me. How am I doing? And everything's all right or whatever. But who I looked up the special was these two. Zella came a little bit later. I don't know exactly when it was. I think after Yud Shvat of Shin Yud Aleph.
Yeah, he came a little later, right?
Yeah, he came later. But Bechlali, when I was then younger, I looked up to these two.
And now, when did you start having a relationship with Rabbi Mentlik?
Look, Rabbi Mentlik was the Rosh Yeshiva in Bedford and Dean. And the mamish relationship close it wasn't, but for certain things like getting matzah for Pesach, he arranged I should get matzah. You had Easter come into Bchinas, but later I came into his kitta when I was 15.
Oh, you mean Rabbi Mentlik actually had a class? Not only was
Yeah. He said a shir. Yeah, his shir was for 2 years.
Yeah, but he didn't have a daily class. Class?
He had a daily class. Yeah, he had a daily class.
Of what?
That was the highest.
Of the third Sifta.
That was, you had like this. The system was, he had Rabbi Garfinkel, then was Rabbi Ushpal, and then there was, you're learning in the Beis HaMedrash.
Right.
And in the Beis HaMedrash was 2 shiurim. One was Rabbi Castell. That was for the first year. And then the second year and third year of the Beis HaMedrash was Rabbi Mentlik. So it used to be that you had the Kitta had like Bochim that came in for the first year, and Bochum were there ready for the second year. They would leave, and we would become like the second year, the older of the Talmidim.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I got more with the Rabbi Mentlik. Yeah.
Now you had Yechidus every single year.
Yeah, soon it's right after the Nesias from the Rebbe gave a heroa to the Anhola that the Bocher that has the Moledes should come into Yechidus. That was a new thing, by the Friedrich Rebbe, you didn't have that. By the Rebbe and Bechlal. It was the thing by the Rebbe.
Okay. Any particular yeshivas that you would like to share something from that would be inspirational for young people in particular?
Look, I can tell like a yechidus from the Shnas HaYistalkes.
Please.
I was bar mitzvah in Tammuz Tovshin Yud.
Yes.
That was before they had like official yechidus. In Elul, it started since a lot of people started coming. So then it was like, I think in the beginning was twice a week in the evening.
Okay.
But before that, before Elul, it was no official Seder. And then since I had bar mitzvah, well, I didn't know about Yom HaLedes yet. I mean, they didn't mention that Yom HaLedes, but it was my bar mitzvah. So the Bochum told me I should go into the Rebbe. So I came to 770, and then they told me knock on the door. I was like, knock on the door. Yeah, knock. That's what's done. That's the Seder. You knock on the door. So it was after Mincha, and not right away. It was I don't remember exactly what time, but it wasn't right after Mincha. I knocked on the door, and Nissen Mendel was sitting with the Rebbe. He was the secretary, one of the secretaries. So he opened the door, and he saw me standing there. He understood it was I was coming in for a bracha. So he went out.
Right.
He let me in, and I went out. The Rebbe was sitting in a yarmulke. And I came over to the table. I told the Rebbe that we're bar mitzvah, becoming now bar mitzvah. I'm asking for a bracha. So the Rebbe asked me, who told you to come here? So I told him a bocher. He said, which bocher? I told him the name. After that, he put on his hat. He was sitting with a yarmulke. He put on his hat. He opened like a little bit from the desk, and they took out a paper, and he asked me my name and mother's name, family name, and then he gave me a bracha.
And one second. So
that time,
in other words, one second. So you didn't come in with a zettel, a written zettel.
No.
Oh, so then that wasn't the Seder. You didn't write the zettel before.
It could be other bochum did. I don't know. I don't know. They told me to knock on the door. Look, I was a kid. I didn't know.
Yeah,
I
right.
knocked on the door, and
okay.
It wasn't like officially regular.
Yeah. Continue. Please continue. Yeah.
So the Rebbe wrote down the names, and then he was like looking at the zettel and speaking to me. And what I remember is that he asked me if I put on tefillin already. Of course, and it says in the Minhagim we should put on 2 months before.
Right.
So, and he asked me with a bracha, and I said lechatchila I did without a bracha, and then the Rebbe said unitzter, and I said with a bracha, and then in those times, and then you be Stamus, for instance, was the Yom HaLedes from the Fidiger Rebbe. So he spoke about saying, even though it's after the Histalkes, should say the kapitel from the Fidiger Rebbe.
Right.
And he asked me, and he told me I should say the kapitel. His name was Ayin Aleph, and he mentioned to me then that wherever you're going to be, the Rebbe will be with you. Say kapitel Ayin Aleph, and Bude sein, but the Rebbe sein mit dir. That is what I remember. It could be there was a few more words and everything, but I was remembered.
And that came and continued after he told.
Oh, another thing. He mentioned to say it al koponim till Rosh Hashanah. Now, when I went out, the Bochum asked me what the Rebbe said. I told him, and so the Bochum said, "Oh, till Rosh Hashanah, it's a siman. The Rebbe will be mekabel the Nesius on the Rosh Hashanah."
Right.
Others said, a kid, what does he know? Maybe he's mixed up. Maybe he doesn't remember. Later, I saw in the Igris, when it was gedrucked the Igris.
Yeah.
So it was one time, in the same month, Tammuz Tavshin Yud.
Yeah.
A Bocher wrote a letter to the Rebbe about his letters, and the Rebbe mentioned to him we should say Kapitel Ayin Aleph Akoponim Biz Rosh Hashanah. That same lotion was in Tammuz Tavshin.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so let's move on.
I had another thing in the Shnas Hayistalkis.
Yes.
I had the appendix. I had an attack on the appendix, and they took me to the hospital. Rabbi mentally came because he was the Rosh Yeshiva and he was Achroi. Most of the Bochim left already for Yom Tov. It was 2 days before Sukkot. He came with his brother-in-law, Isha Pinchas Katz, and they had to sign the guardian because my mother was in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So I remember when they took me in the bed there, in the hall to go to the operation room. So I meant said, I should hear. He told him, the Ramash asked that when they're making the operation, we should call him, we should be Mediyah, and that now is the operation. So I remember then I felt, like this, I was afraid maybe I'm going to die from the operation, whatever. I didn't know what it is. I heard that.
Who did Rebbe mentally say that to? You or to Rebbe Katz?
No, to Moshe Pinchas Katz. He told him, but he told him loud that I should hear. He could have told him this.
That the Ramash said what? That when
Ramash had gebeten, he asked that when they make the operation, I should be Mediyah. He should be Mediyah.
Let him know that you're going into the operation.
Let them know. Then after I went out, that was a week later, I went out. It was like 2 days before Simchas Torah, and they made special minyan for me for Akofis, because I couldn't walk the 770. In those times, after an operation, it was a
big ordeal. Yeah.
So, but the next night, Simchas Torah itself, I went to 770. Shmini Atzeres, they made a minyan for Akofis, and then the next night I went. But I could. There was a Fabrengen there. There was Fabrengen in the Chotzer in the Sukkah. So I was standing before Gan Eden HaTachnia, standing there by the elevator, waiting to go upstairs to the davening, and the door was locked. You couldn't get in because then suddenly the Rebbe's Tzanchanet, the Rebbe's mother came. She had a key to open up. And when she opened the door, she turned around to us and smiled. I was standing with another bocher. She said, I probably you would like to go up. So when she opened the door, she pushed it like strong, which room for us to go after her. We should be able to go in. And so we went upstairs, and then 10 minutes later, the started upstairs, and the feeding Rebbe's Rebbitzin started screaming, and there doesn't such an elam there, and the kids didn't let many people in, only the Alter Chasidim and maybe a few. I don't think Bochen get in. I don't remember. And Rabbi Jacobson, he came into the Zin, he saw us there. He says, "Mahaltzich in the sukkah. You should hide in the sukkah." The sukkah was right there, next to there, at the feeding Rebbe's Rebbe shouldn't see. And kids said after the Akofis, the Rebbe went Akofis with the Rashag, and then after the Akofis, after the davening, so I mentally, first he asked me, how did you get in? I told him what happened. He brought me over to the Rebbe, and he said, this is the Bocherol or the Yingel, was nicht gesund, that he was sick. And the Rebbe said, no, hat seiner Gesundheit. Hat seiner Gesundheit. Hat seiner, dreimal, he said.
Dreimal?
Yeah. The next day, Simchas Torah, in the daytime, by the Fabrengen, so the Rebbe Fabreng before Akofis, before Ma'ariv, and then in the next day Fabrenged also. And then in the middle of Fabrengen, he started giving out Mashpia to everybody. So one of the Bochim went over to the Rebbe and said, Mashpia for for the Abrahams. So the Rebbe said, "Zoller allein zu gehen. I should go on my own." So I went over and I got it. And then, so in the first Yechidus, you asked about the Yechidus. The first Yechidus in Tovshin Yud Aleph, when I was 14, that was a year later. So as soon as I came in, the Rebbe looked up and says, "No, the bist gesund. Are you healthy? I guess we're supposed to be medir if you feel good later or everything." Therefore,
yeah, but Rabbi Abrahams, you told us earlier that you had Yechidus already earlier. When the Rebbe didn't have he had wearing a yarmulke, and then he put on his hat. You had Yechidus.
That was the first time, but the second time was that I was sitting in the hat. Was like Yechidus?
Yeah, you mean so it's the second? So
I'm thinking the second time.
That
was, but it came out a year later. This was in Tishrei. This was in Tammuz.
Right.
It's 10 months later, whatever, 9 months. So as soon as I came in, the first thing, the bist gesund, and you're healthy.
No, wait. Why did you have Yechidus in Talmud? In Tishrei, the Rebbe gave Yechidus in Tishrei.
No. In Tishrei was the Simchas Torah.
Oh, the Simchas Torah, right?
I had the appendix.
Appendix. Oh,
and
so you
then
mean the following year?
The Rebbe following year, the first time I came into Yechidus, he said, "Oh, she gets
right.
Yeah.
Right, I got it. I understand. So just now, tell a few minutes left. Tell us about the Avirah in 770 throughout the whole 1950s. You spoke about what about Tavshin Tezvav Tazayin Yud Zayin Yud Ches? As you got older, you became an older bacher.
Okay, yeah. Look, I was also when I learned by Rabbi Yoel. That's when I really got into Chasidus. I was very before I didn't have too much cheshek to learn. It wasn't so clear to me the yonim. I like more nigle, but when Rabbi Yoel said the shiurim, I was mamish a tiny godel b'yeser, and it's very close to him. And later, when I was a bocher, also the Neuling of 70 was to speak a lot. I used to ask him questions, and used to come, and I wasn't official then. Were Mashpia then there, but used to come his man. When he came, I used to ask him questions. He used to speak a lot, and Chasidus, and
Did you eat at his house at all during that time?
Yeah. When I went later, when I was older, I'd say when I was around 20, 21.
And
I remember the first Simchas Torah after the end of the year when I learned by him. So we were sitting there, and it was after Rakovas and everything. People were eating, and there. So he called me.
He what?